The KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the luxury of being joined by my good friend Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com, and together we are going to talk and break down which is a bigger need for this Chiefs team before the NFL trade deadline. Is it another wide receiver or is it a cornerback? So, Josh, the Kansas City Chiefs have already made a few big moves before this trade deadline, sending a conditional fourth-round pick to the Tennessee Titans to get superstar DeAndre Hopkins, and they also traded a day 3 pick 2 years from now to get pass rusher Joshua Uche. But should they go out and get another cornerback or a wide receiver to bolster this roster? So I know that there's a bunch of different ways the Chiefs could go here before Tuesday's deadline. But Josh, what are your thoughts? What do you think the Chiefs should do before the deadline?
Well, there's two different ways to answer this. There's a wide receiver and a cornerback, but if I had to guess, I would think they probably invest in a cornerback just because of the sample size we have of the cornerback struggling. We've seen the Chiefs, have guys that can get it done at wide receiver, and that was even before they brought in D-Hop. Juju Smith-Schuster should probably be back at some point in the next few weeks, and that'll only help. And it'll only help the way they feel about the wide receivers. So I think that the Kansas City Chiefs probably go out and get a cornerback. I think that's just what they need more. And even if I'm being honest, I think that's probably what they need more, even though wide receiver is probably the sexier position.
Absolutely. Like, we could always use another wide receiver, but the bigger need at this point in the season, with all the injuries to Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams' poor play, the cornerback position is a bigger need, and I think that Brett Veach has been eyeing that market. We've talked about potentially trading for Marshon Lattimore from the Saints. The Saints just lost today against the bad Panthers team. They've moved to 2-7. So I think Lattimore could get moved fairly quickly, and he's an option. Greg Newsome from the Cleveland Browns could be a guy that the Chiefs look into. But who do you think maybe fits the Chiefs best in terms of cornerback play?
I do think Marshon Lattimore fits them best. He's probably the best player that you can get right now at the position that's realistically available. He's a 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. He's still considered one of the best cover corners in the NFL. When he's been healthy and on the field, he's been one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Ohio State product. They've always pumped out good defensive backs. So it's probably Marshon Lattimore. I mean, he's the obvious answer, and his contract is also super affordable. At first glance, it looks like he costs a lot of money, but when you really break it down, look at the base salary, only had a $1.2 million base salary this year. He'll only be paid half that because we're halfway through the NFL season if the Chiefs get him, so probably $600,000 to bring in. The Kansas City Chiefs could absolutely make that work financially, and he's probably the best player you can get.
Well, I think that it was kind of a pipe dream for the Chiefs to make this move, but his contract makes a lot of sense. It is a very low risk, but could be a very high reward for this Chiefs defense that already is the best in the NFL. And if you're telling me that you could give up a day 3 pick to go get Marshon Lattimore, a 4-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro, he's had some injury problems, but he would automatically make your defense the best in the NFL. And it's no question. But I think his contract for the future, this would be a rental because who knows what next year brings, and the Chiefs can get out of that contract, but maybe they could give a rich enough draft pick to the Saints so they would eat a lot of that money, and maybe the Chiefs could restructure and keep him on this team next year. But realistically, this is probably a 1-year rental that the Chiefs would look into as they're trying to three-peat. And I don't hate that for $600,000, and the Chiefs would make a massive upgrade over Joshua Williams and Chris Roland Wallace.
Yeah, I mean, we all look great outside of McDuffie. Joshua Williams gave up several big plays. Najee Johnson didn't look good, and he went out with a concussion. I haven't seen whether or not he'll even be back this week, so it also becomes a numbers thing too. Kind of like with wide receiver, Michael, not only did the Chiefs need another talented wide receiver, but they also needed a capable body because they only had like 4 healthy guys if you included Sky Moore going on IR for the core muscle surgery. So we're kind of approaching the same territory, can't talk, with the cornerbacks because you're losing guys one by one. So they need someone that is good to play the position because what they have isn't very good, but they also need capable bodies because they're starting to run out.
Yeah, and that's a big concern around the board. But really quickly, guys, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this channel all football season long. At Rice Real Estate Group, they're more than just a real estate team. They're a full-service partner in residential, commercial, and investment properties. They specialize in guiding clients through every stage, from the buying and selling process to handling complex, short sale situations with ease. Their passion lies in the personal one-on-one care they bring to every client relationship, ensuring each experience is tailored, smooth, and successful. Here it's all about building trust, delivering expertise, and ensuring every client feels valued throughout their journey. For more information, call Marla Rice at 816-819-9333. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Special thanks to our sponsors here on this channel that have supported me through the entire football season. But getting back to it, I think that you have to look at cornerback being the bigger need for this Chiefs team. Wide receiver would be nice, but listen, you have, Justin Watson, who's been really good when he needed to be. You have Mecole Hardman, who we would like someone better, but he's okay. He's serviceable. Maybe he could pull something out of nowhere. And you have DeAndre Hopkins. That was the big splashy trade that the Chiefs are hoping could be their number one wide receiver. And so, yeah, it would be nice to get a Darius Slayton or someone else in free agency, or I guess not in free agency, but the trade deadline. But realistically, cornerback is the bigger need. And so why not go out and get a Marshon Lattimore when he's cheap? And he might be the best option over someone who's younger, like a J.C. Horn or a Greg Newsome.
Yeah, I think a younger cornerback may be something that Brett Veach is more likely to go after, like a J.C. Horn or a Greg Newsome, who's still very young, still on a rookie contract, and would be able to stick around long term. Because even with wide receiver, they ended up trading for D-Hop, but I do think that there was a thought there for a second that the Kansas City Chiefs may target someone like Deontay Johnson, who is young, cost control. I mean, he wasn't making a ton of money, and he could have been a long-term solution at the position where D-Hop feels more like a short-term solution. Not that D-Hop couldn't spend multiple years in Kansas City. He certainly could stay beyond this year, but someone younger that the team views as a long-term solution at the position. But the thing is Jalen Watson isn't gone forever. Like, he's going to come back some point, even if it's next season. So I don't know if the Chiefs want to sink an asset in a cornerback unless they see it as a need moving forward. I mean, the only way I could see that is if they choose that player over Jalen Watson, or if they don't extend Trent McDuffie, or if they don't plan to, which I think they probably will. I mean, McDuffie's been an elite cornerback so far. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see. Marshon Lattimore feels like the most obvious because of everything that we just talked about, and when you consider the cost and the type of use that the Chiefs would need him for. But Brett Veach does like young players that are worth high draft picks. So if a team is asking for a high draft pick, I think Brett Veach would prefer to get a younger player back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that the Chiefs have to operate with the thought that this could also be a season where you do rent a player, but if the value's there to trade a draft pick for someone who has team control next year, that would be best case scenario. But I also don't hate the possibility of just renting a player as the Chiefs try to three-peat. So Chiefs Kingdom, what do you guys think of the possibility of the Chiefs trading for either a cornerback or a wide receiver? And which need do you think is the biggest need for this Chiefs team? I think that we're both in agreement that cornerback is the biggest issue. But Josh, is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I think that's it. I think, it would be exciting to add a wide receiver, another one for sure. But I think cornerback is probably the smart move.
Could not agree more. Go get a cornerback, and that all but guarantees your third consecutive Super Bowl. So, Josh, it has been a pleasure to get you on the channel and talk some Chiefs football. My final question for you is, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on YouTube, Show Me Football. You can also check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for all my writing stuff. And then you can follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB.
Guys, all that stuff will be linked in the description of this video. As for me, hit that like button on this video if you have not already. Subscribe to this channel. We've been posting stuff every day, all football season long. So to show your support, definitely subscribe to not only my channel, but Josh's channel, and it will be linked in the description below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and as always, go Chiefs.